From the Delhi studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 10, presented by Berger Easy Clean, powered by Reva University, Quick Heal Secrite, Green Lamb Laminates, PolicyBazaar.com, and Cucina, co-powered by Mankind Pharma and Nexon EV.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The situation in the Israel-Hamas war is not a faraway concern for us as Indians. I have been talking about it, and I think it's important to mobilize public opinion in India as well. Because whether the Iran-backed Hezbollah will act on its threat against Israel, and whether Egypt's Sisi's verbal aggression against Netanyahu will be backed by combat action, these are not faraway questions. Everything may change in an instant, ladies and gentlemen. But this is our war too. Hashtag, this is our war too, ladies and gentlemen. Because as some sections of the Muslim world may as well unite to back the Hamas terrorists, the forces against Islamist terror in the world must also unite. Islamist terrorism is the problem here, ladies and gentlemen. Islamist terror is the common enemy. And in a war against Islamist terrorism, India cannot be a mute spectator against these jihadis. India cannot be non-committal. India cannot be hands-off. We need to back Israel. We need to be all in on this. Because we need to defeat Islamist terror at home and around the world. Because religion is no longer a guise and a purpose for perpetuating, justifying, and breeding terrorism, ladies and gentlemen. Which is why I'd like to say a few points, and I want to start a debate on this. The first point I want to make is, either there is a quick and complete battle against terrorists and terrorism which eliminates them from their roots, which eliminates them to the point of them never rising again, or we have to be ready for non-stop, long-term bloodletting. Second point, for all the people who are saying we feel bad for the people of Palestine, we feel bad for what they are going through. Well, I feel too. But having said that, the people of Palestine must show the courage and the spine to disown the Hamas. What have the people of Palestine done to disown the Hamas, to uproot the Hamas? How is it not their responsibility? There was a video which went around, in fact, where we saw a professor in America saying that when he saw the violence against the Israeli innocent citizens, he felt exhilarated. An American professor, on seeing women getting raped and children murdered, says he feels exhilarated, and he puts some arguments such as, it was wonderful to see what happened because the balance of power and the use of violence was established. What if a terrorist were to put a gun on that professor's head? Would he say, I feel wonderful that it's not the New York Police Department which is carrying guns, but terrorists who are using guns? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the same Maoist with guns approach that we have seen here in India. I believe people who make such arguments are, I'm sorry to say, intellectual perverts. The other point is that the people of Israel and the government of Israel should look at the human rights of the Hamas people too. And to that I have a simple argument. How can you make the victim of terrorism responsible for upholding the human rights of the terrorists? It makes absolutely zero sense to any logical thinking person. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that the Hamas and the PFI are very similar, which is why I've been always giving the Indian example. And I've been saying it. Do not think that what is happening in Israel, what the people of Israel have been through, will not happen in India. The moment you go soft, it will. The reality is whether people on political persuasions accept it or not, the Narendra Modi government is extremely hard in its response internally and externally. So we've had relative quietude over the last few years. But believe me, if we go soft for a few months, they're going to come back. The Hamas and the PFI are similar because the Hamas also has this so-called political wing, and then they want to have a military wing, and then they want to have a terrorist wing. That's exactly the way the PFI is operating, which is why I appeal to the Election Commission of India and right-thinking citizens of the country to ensure that the SDPI is not allowed to exist anymore as a political party, because it's nothing but a front of the PFI. The other point is, viewers, as I talk to you about parallels, it is the Hamas which has threatened a complete ground invasion of Israel. Please understand who's the aggressor here. The Hamas says, we'll do a ground invasion, that land is ours, Israel has no right to exist. That was not the point of view of the Palestinian Authority. It's the people of Israel which must question that stance. This is very similar to the view of all these terrorist groups in Pakistan around our border and some sleeper cells within who say, we're going to have a Ghazwa-e-Hind in the country. Similar forces want to have a ground invasion of India. So I'm not really exaggerating here. And finally, I believe the time has come for the Modi government to also declare the Hamas as a terrorist organization. To not declare the Hamas as a terrorist organization is inappropriate for this government. Without further ado, we must take a clear stance on this. Even if some people believe my view is too right of center, it is completely right. Do you agree with me, viewers? Tell me what you think, for I speak my mind, especially on the nation's sharpest opinion. So now, let's debate.
As you can see, there are Markavas and there are tanks, BMPs tanks which is being placed here. We are just going in and around to show you the visuals of the Israel Be'eri Kibbutz, the Hamas terrorists who came, they burned many of the houses, and then they were waiting for the people to come out of their house, and they directly had an open fire. So this is the story of the Be'eri where we have been reporting from, but now the entire area is being taken away, has been taken over by the IDF.
This is the bike that we are showing you that has been used by the terrorists of Hamas to unleash terror. This is one of the bikes that they used not only to get into this area, but then to selectively target each area. And this is the house that was targeted by the Hamas terrorists. This still has the magazines, the bullets are still there. There is a helmet of the Hamas terrorists. Everything lying here, which shows that how deadly these terrorists of Hamas were, who were trying to unleash terror on the people of Israel and killed more than 120 of them in this kibbutz Be'eri itself.
We know that we have been reporting from kibbutz, and we will leave from this location, but I'll just ask my video journalist to show you visuals what is the real condition of the kibbutz Be'eri, who's been known as a very worst area hit on October 7, where the Hamas terrorists who came in with the motorbike, they invaded into motorbike, they have destroyed the entire pharmaceutical house, and we can see the condition now. Not only this, they burned many of the houses here, where and now what do you see? There are magazines, there are bullet magazines, as well as the helmet of the Hamas terrorist, and the bullets, as you can see on your screen. So this was used by the Hamas terrorists to kill people, and we know there are more than 120 people have been killed, where many of the people were abducted as well.
We are going to show you the arms and ammunition that these terrorists, they have used to unleash terror on the civilians of Hamas. This is the machine gun that these terrorists came with, along with the multiple magazines, two of which are lying here, as you can see. And also they were carrying with them the huge amount of arms and ammunition. Apart with along with the heavy arms and ammunition, they were also carrying these grenades, out of which 3 grenades have been seized live. Many others are here also. So this is the exact storage that they were carrying with them. That includes the machine guns, the grenades, and also the heavy artillery.
So there is an alert. There is an alert which has been given by. As you can hear, there are explosion which is been underway, and we have been reporting from Kibbutz Peri, and there was alert that was given by the forces, and there were some of the explosion that also happened. We'll just move. See, as you can see on the visuals, as you can see, there are explosion that has been the rocket that has been fired by the Hamas terrorist. It has been targeted here at the Kibbutz Peri, as you can see on your screen, where the Hamas terrorists been firing the rockets, which is now been intercepted by Israel. But visuals on your screen, it was targeted on the same location where we have been reporting. It's a Kibbutz Peri, which is known to be the worst affected from the October 7. Many people were killed, and you can hear there are explosions.
In Israel, there's no Hamas terrorists at the moment, but they are continuously trying. They are trying to infiltrate in order to continue killing more and more. In Gaza, Hamas continuously puts civilians in harm's way deliberately because they want their civilians to be hurt, because that is what they sickeningly think that will bring them attention.
Hamas terrorists has been using only one strategy, that to hide behind the human. They have been taking a human shield, and which is why Israel is some of the either way they have been toned down, but not going to a complete invasion. But yes, what we see on our screen is a clear message that the areas that were taken by the Hamas terrorists has been occupied by has been taken by Israel, because we saw there are thousands of Merkavas, there are thousands of tanks, small tanks, which is being moved towards the Gaza city, and Israel has made it very much clear the war that has been started by Hamas is going to be ended by Israel.
Sushant, firstly, I want to start with you. Our hashtag is very clear. We are clearly clear where we stand on this. And I have been saying to people across the country that this is your war too. Do not look upon what is happening, what has happened to the people of Israel, and even imagine that this will never happen in India. Because there are forces with similar intent who would like to target India as well. So please do not look at this as something far removed. Remind yourselves rather, every day when you see what Israel is going through, that this is what India can also potentially go through, only on a much larger scale. Right. So having said that, Sushant, do you believe that Israel is deliberately holding back, or is just taking time before a huge offensive? Or do you think this is going to end diplomatically?
So, Arnab, I'm a little surprised that you say that this can also happen here. It's happened here, and it's happened multiple times.
It has been.
It's not something which has not happened out here. And perhaps even as we are speaking, be rest assured that there would be some terrorist groups which would be planning to carry out similar attacks in India somewhere along the line. Whether they are able to do it, not able to do it, that's another matter. Secondly, I believe this is our war because many of these terrorist groups share similar ideologies. Their worldview is similar. Their approach towards non-Muslims is similar. In fact, their approach towards people who don't belong to their own sects is similar. And they have very little tolerance for anybody else, whether it's the ISIS, Al-Qaeda, it's the Taliban, it's Lashkar-e-Taiba, or it's Hamas. It's the same. There's no difference. Their barbarity is the same. Their savagery is the same. We've seen this barbarity, for example, in Kaluchak, the cantonment near Jammu, where soldiers and their families were butchered mercilessly. We've seen it in Kashmir. We've seen it elsewhere. So don't, I don't think anybody should think that, rightly or wrongly from the religion, but that's not the religion itself, in and of itself. But having clarified that, on the other question which you asked, why is the Israelis, why are they going the way they are going on this particular operation? I think it's a considered option. Look, it's not an easy, it's not like a knife cutting through butter when you're going into an area which is so densely populated and very well built up, with tunnels, with all kinds of other traps, all kinds of other problems which you will face when you go in. So I think whether they even go in that same manner or they're just blockading it completely, I don't know. Obviously, they're not going to reveal what their plans are going to be. Maybe they want to depopulate large areas and then move in. That was the model which the Pakistanis followed. Incidentally, the Pakistanis were right now showing a lot of support for the people in Gaza when they went in to clean up, some of their favorite terrorists who had gone rogue, whether it was in Swat or rest of the tribal belt, South Waziristan, North Waziristan, they flattened. The Israelis have still not done it. The Pakistanis flattened, completely bombed the hell out of towns and cities when they went in. And they had pulled out all populations, which ran into many more millions than what the Israelis are planning to do from Gaza. So for the Pakistanis and others of their ilk to do virtue signaling is all very well. But this is what their track record has been. Let me just finish. Why are you getting excited?
There's a lot of support building for Sushant. Waris, today we have given a full hour to this debate. I would like to, I will certainly let you come in. But I want to say right now, Waris, that I would like him to continue and then I will come to you.
Which you extended to
I will give you the same time provided you are patient.
You extend to me
provided you are patient. Right now I want to say that people are supporting Sushant Sareen like hell.
Yes.
All over people want Sushant to complete his point.
Yes.
Using the hashtag this is our war too. Sushant, please continue.
So, Arnab,
thank you.
Before Mr. Pathan interrupted me, all I was saying is I think the Israelis will do it in a smart way. And I think they should do it in a smart way. There's no point trying to, do chest thumping and go in because they have all the power in the world. Because wars are very uncertain. And I think when you're waging war, when you're pursuing a war, then you should go in very, very deliberately. You should go in with cold calculation. You should try and minimize your own casualties and maximize the casualty of the enemy. That's a no-brainer. And maybe demolish some of the structures that they might have built up, which could hamper your efforts to clean up what is happening out there. So I don't think we need to be in a hurry. And for the last almost 5-6 days, every day, somebody or the other comes in that the Israelis are all set to move in. They've done this, they've done that. But I think the Israelis are going to time their ingress into Gaza on their own way, and maybe they will not even go in. Who knows? Maybe they've thought it through in another way. So I think let's wait and see what their battle plans are going to be.
Absolutely. Viewers, among various reasons why I believe this is our war too, and I think this campaign should be going viral across the country, is the fact that there are groups in India who have this Hamas approach. Only in India they wear a disguise of being activist, or they say we are a social group, or they say we are a political party. Exactly the way in which the Hamas operates, the same ideology was that and is that of the Popular Front of India. And you know how many people, including several on this panel, have been open supporters of the Popular Front of India. Make no mistake, directly or indirectly, they will also support the Hamas. They will also support the Hezbollah. And if they support the Hamas and the Hezbollah, then they presumably also support the Lashkar-e-Toiba.
Arnab, no one is supporting Hezbollah, no one is supporting Hamas.
That's where I think we need to fight a common battle against Islamist groups. And raise our voice against these groups.
Don't involve Islam. Don't say that. Islamic, okay? Don't read the Nagpur script. I'm telling you.
I said Islamist, and so did he. He said Islamist groups.
अरे
No,
मैं
no, no,
बोलने
no,
दो जरा, मेरे को बोलने दो,
I
सुनो
strongly condemn. You cannot
बोलने दो जरा,
involve.
अरे रुक जाओ,
आप बात करो, ठीक है वारिस भाई, आप बात करो, आप
अरे यार
बोलो.
बोलने दो इसको.
The phrase used by Sushant
बोलने दो, मेरे
was
को जरा बताने दो, इन लोग को
Islamist,
इनका
not
चेहरा.
Islamic. Thank you.
इनका मुझे काला चेहरा दुनिया के सामने लाने दो.
may I ask you one
आप खामोश
question?
बैठो, मैं बोलता हूँ.
The
No, your
question
question
is,
over.
Waris, just calm down
Now
a little
you show me the
bit. You
same
see, the
courtesy
choice here is,
which you extended
the choice
to
here
Sushant
is,
Sareen without interrupting me even for a few seconds.
But you can't fight with Sushant like this.
No. Enough of your
yeah, I will
agenda.
let
Allow
you
us to
debate
make
with
our
him,
point.
but don't
I
have
want
to
ask
make
a question.
personal
I don't
comments
want
on
to listen to your
Sushant.
question.
You are
I will
beginning
make
to
my
make
direct
personal
points.
comments on Sushant, which are
I'm
not
making-
necessary.
Where did I make
No,
any
you can't make
comments?
personal comments on
You may
Sushant.
say whatever you want to.
You were making, so I stopped you
I'm
at that
not
time.
making any personal comment against Sushant.
Calm down
I
first
just
of all.
requested you.
Let's
I
please
requested
tweet
you
using the
to extend
hashtag
to
This
me
is our
the
war
same
too.
courtesy which you extended
This
to
is our
Sushant.
war too.
That's it. Yes, allow me now.
Yeah, but
Okay,
reduce your
2,
BP
4, 3, whatever
and please
is
answer while
happening.
being calm. Thank you very much.
Say, yes, okay. Since 7th October, Israel has committed mass murder
Yes.
and genocide of more than 2,000 civilians in Gaza and has murdered, slaughtered, committed genocide of more than 1,000 innocent children in Gaza alone. This is act of terror. This is war crime. You cannot do this. There are certain laws in international war. You have flouted all the rules and regulations. You cannot cut their electricity. You cannot cut their fuel. You cannot cut their water. But Israel has gone all along and they have committed these crimes. And I would like Netanyahu to be tried as a war criminal by the international courts of justice. Now again coming to here, what has Syria done? Did Syria provoke Israel? Did Syria provoke Israel? Why did Israel bomb Syria? Hamas is just an intention. Israel wants to create terror. Israel wants to kill the Palestinians. Israel wants to murder them mercilessly. He wants to have supremacy of that area. Otherwise, why does he flout? Yesterday, the United Nations warehouse, aid warehouse was bombarded by Israelis. They have been killed. Israel says within 10 hours, leave this place, go to south. People rush towards south. He bombards them. He kills those innocent people. Why? Why? Because Israel has been ruling. He wants Palestine to be his own. Since last 16 years, Gaza Strip is an open air jail in the world. Why don't you allow them to come out? For independence, India fought against the Britishers, Arnab. That time, Arnab, did you stood with the Britishers or did you stand with the Indians? Today, there's a time you should stand with the people who are oppressed. Israel is the oppressor.
I am against terrorism.
The Palestinians are the oppressed people. And always believe, you also believe, there is humanity. I stand with Palestine. The entire world stands with Palestine. Israel is a terrorist, everybody is calling them. Even the Jews now in Chicago have taken out a huge rally in support of Palestine. Everywhere in the world, people are supporting. Modi's friend, Mohammed bin Salman, is supporting. Even Indian government, the Minister of External Affairs, said that we are with Palestinians, independence, we stand with them. Our late Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee,
No, I think